Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the story of DevOps engineer. Now, as a starter, I understand that you might be having a lot of questions of what DevOps engineer does, what is their role and responsibility, and I totally get it. In the industrial world, in the world of tech, it is very important to understand the role and responsibility before you proceed with the learning. So I have curated some content for you and I have created in the form of storytelling. So starting with the story, you can find the link in my bio of this Notion page where I have covered everything for you to understand. Now, I understand from the psychology of a newbie who is just exploring the field of DevOps engineer what questions they have and what roles and responsibilities they should understand. Now, if you are a person who is already in tech, you will understand my words. You might think that this is from the scratch, but this video is not just for the people who are into IT industry, but this video is for people who have just started. So now I will be starting this series, making sure that we cover everything, every detail of it. Although some projects cannot be covered in the video because those are very long, but I'll make sure that fundamental parts are covered. Now, if you can see my screen, I have made a pictorial view. Now, if you can see, this is the developer, this is the project manager, and this is the DevOps engineer. We have GitHub platform, we have EC2 server. Now EC2 server is the actual production platform, the deployment platform where things are going to happen. Now, developer includes testers and all those people who are writing code, planning, executing. Project manager is the person who is approving a lot of things, right? So this picture is created to make you understand that what these people are going to do. And of course, there are not just three people involved, there are many people involved in a project. But I am giving you an eagle eye view to make you understand conceptually what is going on here. So if we talk about the developer, now in some of our previous videos, we have talked about how developer pushes the code on GitHub and things go around. But I'm not going to give reference to the old videos. I'm going to start from the very scratch. Okay. Now, as you can see, the developer who writes the code on their local machine. So let me just imagine that they have this local machine. Sorry for my diagram. And this is the GitHub that they are pushing on. So if this is their local machine, let me write it as local machine here. So it could be any IDE, VS Code, or any platform. Once they run the code, they test it from their end, they push it to GitHub. So this is the GitHub, and they don't use the main branch, they use the feature branch for pushing. Okay. Now, the reason they push on the feature branch because they don't want to mess up with the main code. And here comes the role of the project manager who watches this feature branch. If things are good, they will push it further to GitHub in the main branch. If it is not, they will redirect it to the developer saying, or maybe the tester saying, please make these changes, the code has a bug, or any other modification that they want. Now, after, in case the code is not approved, it is sent back to the developer, they make the changes, and then the developer again send it to push it to the feature branch for the project manager to review. Now, this is what you will be able to see on GitHub dashboard. And if you have created your profile, you have worked on it, then you'll definitely relate what I'm trying to say. Now, if the code is approved, if everything is looking good here, then the code is pushed to GitHub in the main branch. Now, here is what the actual magic begins. Now we have to understand that a software is not just few line of code. It has a lot of clusters, complex features, and many things that need to be automated. Because if initially when things were not automated, there were many developers and testers involved rigorously making changes and executing it on the cloud. Now, this is going to mess up things. I hope you understand, because one point of truth is the main code that is there on the production server. Now, we don't make the changes regularly. I mean, we don't make the changes by bringing the software down and then executing it. Now we have to understand the software is already live, deployed, and the changes that are done is getting integrated in it. To make sure that the changes are not affecting the platform, we need to do some kind of automation and give limited access to the people all around, right? So for example, if 10 developers are there, and if 10 developers are given 10 different accounts and access to the main software, they are going to mess up things. In this scenario, project manager is the lead person who is checking the code, pushing it to GitHub, and then things are getting automated. Even project manager doesn't mess up with the production server. They just push the code to the main server, main branch on GitHub. Okay. So this is the project manager who is pushing the code on the main branch in GitHub, and now actual automation is going to start. Now you have to understand the main code is living on EC2 server, for example, or any cloud, because the software is considered to be live. Now here comes the role of DevOps engineer. All the automation process from pushing the code to the main branch to executing the change is the role of DevOps engineer. Okay, he looks to the automation. He looks towards CPU usage management, space management, and everything. So it says the role of the DevOps engineer to create the log of what is going on, what is going incorrectly, how things are getting automated, what are the problems that are getting aroused, and so on and so forth. So this is the main role of DevOps engineer. And if there is an issue, then they will reach out to the project manager or developer directly, and then the things are executed accordingly. Okay, so this is the role of DevOps engineer, to make sure that things are up and running smoothly. Now I have created this chart which is going to help you understand better. Now, as I told you, developer local machine is where they write code, they execute it, they save changes locally. Then it is pushed to the GitHub repository where they push the code to the feature branch, version control and collaboration is done. Project manager is the person who is reviewing the code, approving and merging it in the main branch. Now, here is where from Jenkins to the feedback and iteration, DevOps engineer is involved. Now, this is a very big responsibility because they need to understand the CI/CD pipeline, the infrastructure setup, the production server, the monitoring and alerts, and feedback and iteration. Now, this is the actual role of the DevOps engineer. So you have to be very careful in understanding the tools that are being used here. So let's start with Jenkins. Now, I'm coming to the content that I have created here. Okay, now we have to understand what is CI/CD pipeline. You might have heard a lot of it. So it is continuous integration and continuous deployment. Now, in the agile methodology of software development, things are not developed in chunks. Instead, minimum viable product is created and pushed on the cloud, and then there are changes done regularly to upgrade it, modify it, or correct it. Okay, this is called continuous integration and continuous deployment. Now you can consider it as manual too, but nowadays things are automated, and CI/CD pipeline is where DevOps engineer shows their skills set the most. They are the one who are creating this pipeline, and they are helping the whole software development process to get automated. Now let's understand what it is. Continuous integration, it is every code changes automatically built and tested. Now continuous deployment is the test code is automatically deployed to server. Okay, so when coming back to the diagram, so when the code is pushed to GitHub, okay, there are a set of things that are being done. Okay, let me create it here, and then it is pushed to EC2, or maybe you can say that it is pushed to EC2 and things are then done. Now what is done is when we push the code to the main branch, this code is automatically pushed here, but many things are created like test cases and service accounts and so on. In this way, automatically the code, when deployed or pushed on EC2, automatically tests various case, the dependency, the operating system, etc., and then make the changes to the main software. Now all these things are being automated because human error is not tolerable here. Now in this scenario, now you will say that what are we doing? Are we writing code for automation? No, we are not writing code here. There's a concept of multiple user accounts. So user 1, user 2, user 3 account are created automatically with code, with the proper script, and these are non-user account, these are service account, and these accounts are responsible for all the kind of automation from GitHub to EC2 server till the last level of deployment. Okay, till the last change. Now in this process, the 1, 2, 3 accounts, or maybe more accounts, various tools are involved, like for example Jenkins, Terraform, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, and Prometheus. So these are the tools which help in automation, and they have various responsibility assigned to them. I mean, of course, they are used for different purposes, and that is what we are going to discuss in this video. Now coming back to the content that I have created for you, okay, it's here. Now the purpose here is to make sure that the deployment and integration is done seamlessly, without manual interruption, without human error. So these tools are acting as the robots here. Okay, so starting with Jenkins. Now you will study all these if you are aspiring to become DevOps engineer. So Jenkins automates CI/CD pipeline. They pull the code from GitHub, build test cases, and deploys. Okay, so this, of course, this is done by a human also in our real world, but this Jenkins is automating all the process. It is taking the changes from the main branch. When it's pushed to EC2 server, it automatically creates certain test cases and then test it and then deploys it. Okay, now Docker is the package software into isolated it packaged the software into isolated container where everything it is needed. Now whenever we push the code, we write the requirement also. Okay, so it take the requirement document and it fulfills all the document. The Docker does that so that all the dependency that a software is having, it is fulfilling that. Kubernetes is it's managing a lot of Dockers, so it is one and the same thing but on a larger scale. Now Ansible is automating server setup. It is focused on configuration, software installation if required. Terraform is responsible for providing space on the server, like resources, EC2 networking, storage, etc. Okay. Now if we come to the layman and analogy, I have taken the example of kitchen setup, where recipe is taken from the project manager and actual cooking is done automatically with the help of these tools. Now you can read through this document. I will attach the link in the video section. And then let's talk about the deployment. Okay, so these are one and the same thing. How Prometheus is helping it is monitoring CPU usage, memory usage, because this is also very important to create logs for future reference, to capture error, to track the performance of the software, and alerts are sent if something goes wrong. Then yeah, so this is what is happening, and this is what you have to understand about the DevOps engineer. What are their roles? So I'll meet you in another video where we will be talking more about Linux and how Linux is very important for you to understand, because it is the base of everything. The cloud platform that you are using, the only operating system that is there is Linux or Linux. People call it by different accent. So let's wrap this video here. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any doubt. I have tried my best to break these things and make you understand better. Let me know if I can improve further. Thank you for your time. Have a great learning session ahead. Bye bye.